Yes. And we have Courtney here. She's popped in. Hey, Court. Let's add you in here.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
Really good, really good. Thank you. I love your hat.
Thank you. Yeah, I
Mm.
I got a bulging disc yesterday in an accident at the sanctuary, so I am just soldiering through right now.
Oh no. Is that in your spot in your back? What
Yeah,
happened?
my lower
Yeah.
lumbar. It's a lot of heavy lifting, large bags of cattle food and stuff, and I just was not using the proper way of lifting heavy things. So I have pulled
Yeah.
something, but I'm on the mends. I am feeling better. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you for still being present, even though you're moving through that. Yeah, through that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Make sure you're comfortable. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I-
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. I've
All
been laying
right.
down all day, so time to
Yeah.
get up.
Yeah. So yeah, welcoming you in, Courtney from Mystic Journey. I'm really, really grateful to have you here, spiritual life coach and Reiki master, bringing your wisdom in today, especially around shadow work and going into these places that we really want to move through. So just share a bit with us about what you bring forward through Mystic Journey and how this whole became into fruition basically for you. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been quite a life journey.
Yeah.
It's been something that, I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I've been speaking with spirit. It's just kind of always been in my world as a part of me. And as time went on, I started to connect with just different ways that I could help people connect with spirit or connect with just higher dimensions in order to heal themselves. And I came across a book that was um, Life Between Lives, regression hypnotherapy. And that book pretty much changed the course of my life. I was feeling really lost and not sure what I was doing with myself and my
Mm.
career. And being able to take people on a journey to the afterlife to see what they do as a spirit, just like blew
Mm.
my mind. And so I ended up becoming a therapist and going through grad school and all of that stuff. And, I really enjoyed myself and learned a lot. I gained a lot of wisdom, but it the patriarchal system that, rules over psychotherapy just really didn't sit well with me. And I felt this pull, especially during the pandemic, that I
Mm.
needed to tap more into my witchy self. I've always felt this pull, and I really took it seriously and ended up taking some of Mia Magic's courses and really diving into that. And that's when I brought up, becoming a spiritual life coach and kind
Mm.
of combining what I've learned in psychotherapy with trauma work, and bringing that into shadow work and kind of creating my own way of approaching it. And,
Mm.
of course, taking Desiree Dunbar's priestess school
Mm.
also and
Mm.
getting initiated into the Magdalena Rose path was
Yes.
super impactful for me to gain even more insight in how to lead and guide women through healing and really
Mm.
find their magic. And
Mm.
so I've just kind of taken all of these elements of just wanting to learn more how I can facilitate healing and in many ways that speak to different kinds of people. And then of course adding Reiki onto that as well, and serving animals also, which is a huge important part of my life as well.
Mm.
um, yeah, this emphasis on shadow work, I think it's so important. Just kind of realizing, I think a lot of social media has shined a light on the subconscious mind and how
Mm.
it rules a lot of our behavior, and how certain reactions and emotional intensity
Mm.
is stemming all from our childhood trauma or generational, ancestral, or even past life trauma that
Mm,
we don't in a conscious way have access to. And so shadow work really opens that up for us, allowing us to better understand these kind of darker parts of ourselves,
mm,
in order to heal those parts of ourselves, but also learn how to love the darkness that we've been told to shame
mm,
and to dismiss or get rid of, that this wild side of us is
mm,
something that is evil or crazy,
mm,
and really learning how to just kind of flow with whatever we're feeling and whatever state we're at, and learning how we can create agreements
mm,
with our shadows in order to respond and handle things in the way that we really want to, from this more conscious and honest way.
wow, I love that. So when you say an agreement with the shadow, like what does that look like? Is that like going into a meditation and
Yeah.
speaking? Yeah.
So it's something that I'm actually going to attempt to do with everybody here today, which I've
Mm,
never done a group setting shadow work meditation, but it is a guided meditation that I've cultivated over a few years, where I take you on this journey to meet with your shadow. We set an intention of some pretty intense emotional things, whether it's within your relationships, it usually is,
mm,
um, where you're feeling yourself responding in a certain way that you might feel shame about, you're not super proud of, you feel like you can't control it, or you don't know where it's coming from or why.
mhm,
It's kind of that, you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, why did I say that? I didn't mean that. That's like,
mhm,
I'm so sorry,
mhm,
and we call forth that shadow who is
mhm,
responding in that way. And
mm,
so we end up meeting the shadow. It surprises a lot of people that they actually hear a little voice, and I think there's only been two clients I've had who haven't been able to see their shadow.
okay.
But usually they see their shadow. And it's a back and forth thing. So I'll ask questions, and I ask them to psychically ask in their head, their shadow, these questions, and then they give me their shadow's response. And so from there, I continue guiding questions. And then once we get a better understanding of where the shadow's coming from, why they're responding in that way,
Mm,
what trauma they're kind of stuck in, they end up saying like what they're needing from you in
mm,
order to heal, or not respond in the way that they've been responding.
mm,
And so the agreement looks like, okay, so if I feel you coming up, I know to do this. Maybe the shadow says, like, I need to hear more love and reassurance from you.
mm,
I don't want you to ignore me,
mm,
or be mean to me, or be
mm,
mean to yourself. I need to hear that I'm safe, or that we don't have to feel this way anymore. We can let go of that, or I love you, I care about you, like I'm here for you. And
mm,
shadow agrees, like, okay, yeah, if you do that, I will work with you and not work against you. And so it's a process, but it's also agreement that, hey, your shadow wants you to come up and speak with it daily, or sometimes it's less than that.
mm,
But it's consciously and intentionally making the time to meet with the
mm,
shadow, right? It's been
right,
ignored
mm,
and just kind of pushed aside since it was created. And so it just wants to be noticed. And I think that's the biggest piece of gratitude in shadow work that we can come across, is when these shadows are coming out, instead of getting angry or upset, being grateful because you're in awareness enough to notice it. Because it's like, hey, I'm over here. Like, I don't know
mm,
how else to get your attention.
mm.
Right? And so, yeah, it's a really beautiful
Wow.
thing.
Do
Mhm.
you think that there's power in using the shadow that way, like as a feminine energy, we're taught to be more submissive and a bit of a, then we get complacent into being a bit of a doormat energy where we just want to people please maybe a lot. Do you feel like the shadow has a place where it's like it wants to stand up for you? Is that like the kind of energy that's coming from that as well?
Yeah, sometimes it is. Because there can be a lot of trauma surrounding that, right? Being walked all over, being bossed around and told what to do. And it is kind of this rebellious spirit sometimes within you of wanting to stand up, right? And I think part of that is understanding, but also helping the shadow respond in a way that feels true to you, right? And communicating or standing up for yourself in a way that maybe isn't aggressive or hurtful or chaotic. It can be strong and courageous and powerful without being abusive, if that makes sense.
Or
because
aggressive.
oftentimes the shadow can kind of lead you in that way to be more aggressive and hurtful, and it's only because there's pain and trauma from experiencing that kind of treatment. So, it was modeled, that behavior, right, of being abusive. And so that's what happens. And then we end up hurting other people when we may not really mean to.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Totally. And it's like articulating that power and being more assertive in our voice, right? Rather than being aggressive, what you just said. Yeah, that's really powerful. It's really powerful.
And I feel like another layer to that is like, sometimes the shadow is trying to protect you, right? And we may allow certain people in our life that shouldn't be there, that really don't deserve us, right? That kind of resemble that person in the past that took that power over us or abused us. And so the shadow might be like, what the F, like, we don't need this person, right? And so it's like, there's lessons in that too, because oftentimes our shadows are extremely wise. And they know things, right? Like, why are you letting this person in our life? They're hurting us, or, we don't feel as powerful with this person around. And they get mad at you, right? And so it's a level of like needing to tap into your own power and protection of yourself without your shadow needing to do it for you also.
Yeah. So it's like, we're wanting to like integrate these aspects of ourselves, right? So they have a voice, but we're doing the work. So the voice is still serving us and our purpose. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Because the
Powerful.
shadow, I mean, the shadow, it was the term was coined by Carl Jung. He was a psychotherapist quite some time ago, and it really is our subconscious mind, right? Like 95% of our waking mind and every single thing that we're doing is subconscious, right? Like about talking or driving a car. It's like, it's not like you're just sitting there thinking about like, oh, I need to like push my foot on the gas and the brake. It's like, you just know how to do these things, right? And so there's so much programmed behavior and emotions that are on automatic, right? And so like when we're not consciously aware that these things are happening, we just keep running into the same issues in relation to other people. And so that's really what it's about, is just becoming aware of these programmed behaviors and communication styles and the trauma that's there.
Yeah. So when you take people through these processes, what's the main, like the biggest transformation that you see people go through when you do this work with people?
Oh man. I mean, usually there's tears involved. 9 times out of 10, especially when I can get the individual one-on-one sessions with them, because it's usually a younger version of themselves that they've forgotten about. And these shadow parts are frozen in that trauma. And so they might be 4 years old, 5 years old, 9 years old, and they don't even know anything that's going currently on in your life. They're completely not aware of anything, still frozen at that age. And so for a client to see that version of themselves and see who they've been talking to, who they've been mean to, right? Because there's a self-talk element, right? We've been programmed from society and past generations of tough love,
Yeah.
right? And negative self-talk. And so they realize in that moment, like, oh my God, I've been saying that to this little girl or boy, and it's been hurting them even more when they're already feeling this way. And so that's just a powerful piece, right? And so you know, just even like play or to realize, I had a client that realized, like, oh my God, like I've been afraid to be myself or be in my power because, I was always told that I was worthless or stupid or, you know, I was abused when I was younger, and I didn't realize that that part of me was still experiencing that. And that's why, I've been acting this way in my life. And now, she went and got her degree and she's like started her own business, and she has more power in her relationships. And it's just like really incredible to see, clients just flourish and really live the life that they're wanting to live.
Yeah. Amazing. So you mostly work online one-on-one with people, or do you do group programs, or do you have in-person things that you run?
Yeah. So I used to do in person until the pandemic. And then I'm like, why do I need to pay for an office if I can just do everything online? But I have started to do more group, just kind of workshops. It's been in the works for a while, doing an online shadow work workshop. That leads to a one-on-one session with me, because I think it's really important there's so much information to learn, and so many different ways you can go about it, but then it's just icing on the cake to be able to do the session. So that is definitely in the works. So yeah, that's something I'd like to add in there. And then definitely getting more into in-person sessions again.
Yeah. And bringing this like feminine energy aspect in, like, do you have your own practices that you do for yourself that you love to offer clients? Like, what do you do to feel into that you've created for yourself, maybe that you come back to, that are your like core practices that make you feel like I can take on the fucking world, right?
Yeah. Oh God. There's a lot of practices that I do.
Yeah.
And in particular, I'm going to give you kind of a long stretched answer because there's a lot of them. It depends on what's going on. Um, on a daily basis, one of my main practices, I do a lot of beauty magic just in my getting ready in the day. I charge up my face treatments and the water, my bath, my shower, everything. And I speak to myself a lot in the mirror. It's a lot of my self-work, self-love work.
Amazing.
I try not to say anything negative at all to myself, and especially my body, because I have seen myself transform, body transform, right? Water is programmable, and our body is more than 70% made of water. And so it can always change and transform depending on our thoughts or energy that we're putting into just how we view ourselves. But in terms of shadow work, when I feel it coming up, because I have worked so much with shadow work, it's usually in communication with my partner. I have to stop the conversation and realize, like, before I say something, I know that this is a shadow and I need to go do a rage ritual, because usually anger comes to me first. It was a crutch for a very long time to be angry instead of wounded and upset. And oftentimes I have to break that apart to get to what's underneath, which is pain. And so I have some weeping willow sticks in my room
Mm.
because they have a lot of flexibility and give, they don't break.
Mhm.
And then my bed becomes my punching bag for my weeping willow stick.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's, and I go to town, I scream with it.
Yeah.
I and I let out guttural screams because that's really how I break underneath, right? And I put
Mm.
all of my energy into what I'm doing so that I honestly, I'm sweating.
Mm.
I feel tired, but I can finally get to see what's underneath,
Mm.
realizing I'm not angry, right? I've been programmed to think that I'm angry or this situation is making me angry, but then I can see clearly I'm upset. This is actually reminding me of feelings of maybe this time in fourth grade where my friends made me feel this way, or they didn't include me, and I still have pain from that, and now I'm projecting it onto this situation it's not even about, and then I
Mm.
journal about it, and then I have a conversation with my partner about it.
Yeah, wow. Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. I see a lot of people and a lot in the chat like that they're really resonating with this, and the importance of doing the rage rituals and not suppressing that and like letting that flow through is really powerful. So thank you for bringing that forward and giving permission, everyone, when the anger comes up, to let it continue to flow, and get yourself a weeping willow. This is the second time the willow trees have come up, or third time the willow trees have come up today,
Oh,
so
really?
get
Yeah.
get yourself a willow branch.
Yes, they're magical, and ask the tree first.
Okay. Yeah.
I ask the tree, be grateful to the tree, so
Mm.
appreciative. And I appreciate and show gratitude to my bed, to this space, right? I like to set the space too because I am letting out an immense amount of energy and I want to contain that too. I don't want it spreading into everything. And I always cleanse my space after.
Mm.
Um, but I did see in one of the comments, someone asked about if this works for men. Yes, my clients
Mm.
are both men and women.
Amazing.
It's extremely powerful, especially for men, because they have told to just foster anger, right?
Mm.
Don't show emotions, don't feel emotions, suck it up, right? And so once they can tap under that anger and see more of that pain and why that anger is there, they can experience a lot more growth and learn how to communicate, and create greater emotional intelligence, right? I think that's like one of my big passion projects is helping men as well, just
Mm.
become more connected with the divine and more balanced and less in this toxic masculinity that we see a lot in the world.
Mm.
Um,
Incredible. Thank you. So
yeah.
let's lead into this shadow work process we're going to go through. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm going to do my
Yeah.
best keeping it, short and somewhat valuable, for not somewhat, hopefully valuable for
I'm sure.
people within this short amount of time, since I can't really know what your shadows are saying or what's coming
Mm.
up. It might be just a little bit tricky. And so this is something that intuitively, based off of what I've told you guys,
Mm.
just kind of follow your own lead. If I don't touch on the questions that you feel like are needing to be asked,
Mm.
ask that question, right?
Okay.
So yeah.
Mm.
So I want everybody to set an intention of focusing on pulling out a shadow that you have been feeling
Mm.
coming up a lot in your relationships or your life, some sort of intense emotion that you don't really understand or know why it's there,
Mm.
um, and just asking for that shadow to come forward.
Mhm.
And then when you feel ready, just starting to close your eyes if that feels safe, and just deepening your breath. And being open to whatever you see or feel, and trusting those first words that you hear without wanting to change it or ask questions about it, just trusting it and allowing your body to relax. And just noticing that you're outside in a field of flowers and trees, and feeling the sun's warmth on your skin, the sound of a trickling stream, birds in the trees, and looking down and seeing your bare feet and squishing your toes in the warm, soft earth. And just breathing in the fresh air, knowing you're held and loved in Gaia's warm embrace. And seeing a path opening up in front of you. And as you start to walk down that path, you notice a figure off in the distance. And as you get closer, you notice that it's a version of you. And asking the shadow part to come sit under a tree and have a little chat with you. And noticing if they sit on your right or left side, you'll feel their energy. And turning towards that energy of your shadow and asking how old she is. And trusting whatever number comes up. And asking, is that you that I feel whenever I'm angry or sad recently? And asking why the shadow is showing up in these moments. And asking, what is she needing from you? She needing loving words and giving her some examples like I love you, just acknowledging that she's there. And asking her if there's anything that you could be doing differently that would help her feel safer and start to heal. And asking her how often she would like you to meet with her. And now is your opportunity to make that promise to her, to show up for her, and seeing if she can be in agreement, creating that trusting relationship, whether she trusts you or not yet. That's okay. That you will work to build her trust by showing up for her and providing her with what she needs from you. And that in doing that, she agrees to not react and respond for you in those moments. That you'll know that it's her and that she's needing you instead, and taking that time to meet with her. But she might want you to meet with her more than just that, and honoring her. And asking her one last thing. If there's anything she would like to do with you for fun, or be just included in your life. Whether it's things she used to enjoy or things she would have liked to do that she never got to do. Sometimes it's dancing or just being outside, singing, and agreeing to do that with her. And giving her a great big hug and telling her that you love her and that you're sorry that you didn't know that she was there. But now you know, and you're here for her. Telling her how grateful you are that she showed up and met with you, and that you have to go now, but that you'll see her soon. And walking back to the path and saying your goodbyes in whatever way that looks like. And she turns around, walking towards the sunset. And you walk back down the path where you started. And just taking a moment to look at the scenery around you. And taking a deep breath. And beginning to wiggle your toes and your fingers to wake up the body. Maybe even some light movements. And beginning to open your eyes whenever you're ready. I'm just wanting to check in on everybody and see how you're feeling.
Thank you for that. Yeah, put in the comments, you guys, if what came up for you. I'm still just yeah, moving through bits. Yeah, that was great. It was great. I had a 16-year-old self who didn't like getting attention from men. And I still don't like getting attention from men, even though I want attention. It makes me feel uncomfortable, right? So there's just like this fear around yeah, just any kind of like being admired or anything like that. And it's like you're allowed to step out in your power, and she's just like, fuck anyone else, just do you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
You do you. Yeah. But what came up for others? If you want to unmute, Carly, if anything came up for you, Karen, Sana, or anyone who's here with the camera off, if you want to come and put your camera on and chat with Courtney about what came up, it's a great opportunity. No, you're all right, Carly. All good. So yeah, I really felt like moving into that, like that forgiveness space, and like her words were really like, I do want to be seen. Like there's just a fear around like the negative implications of things that happened when I was younger, that I'm in a more, she's like, you're more onto it and stable, and you wouldn't put yourself in those situations anymore, so it's actually safe for you to be seen because you have more awareness around yourself when you're 16. What awareness do you have of yourself when you're 16? You put yourself in stupid situations all the time, right? Fucking hell, right?
Yeah, she's like, fucking trust yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got this. So yeah, so thank you for that permission. And yeah, I'm sure that others got a lot of permission that came forward just to allow self-expression and forgiveness. And yeah, this forgiveness piece, right, that comes up with like the shadow is just that scared, wounded part of ourselves. Yeah, Sana, would you like to share? Hi.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
Sana.
Hi. That was beautiful. Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Courtney.
I'm happy
Uh,
it was, helpful in such a short amount of time. So good.
it was actually the shadow of abandonment came to me, and it's a wound that I have since I was very young, and it just keeps showing up, and it was great to connect in this way with this shadow, because normally I tend to reject that part of myself. Yeah, so it was very powerful in that short of time. So thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. And I think in that message, right, that abandonment is there because, like you said, you reject it, right? So in turn, you are abandoning yourself. And so that feeling never goes away, right? Because we're not consciously aware that that's what we're continuing to create, right? And so I think the biggest thing to heal that part is by showing up, not abandoning it, right? Pouring like all this motherly, nurturing love onto this part so it doesn't feel abandoned. You don't need other people in order to heal that abandonment, right? You have the power within you to do that, right?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, incredible. I love that. I love that. Thanks, Sana, for bringing that in.
Sharing.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much, Courtney. So, well, how can people find you online? Like, what is the best way for people to get in touch with you?
So you can go to Mystic Journey ATX. There's an underscore after Mystic. That's my Instagram. You can DM me there directly. Also, my website, Mystic Journey LLC ATX. It's kind of wordy, but you can book with me on there. I'm offering a 25% discount for a one-on-one shadow work session with me. And yeah, my email's on there, so feel free to DM or email me, and I'd be happy to speak with you.
Yes, incredible, incredible. Thank you. And this, yeah, this discount is a discount code with Ignite Your Magic that you mentioned that they can enter into when they log in. Yeah, when they get into your website.
Yes, so it's I gave Nicola the link directly to my booking, and I can even put it in here. It's in all caps, but there we go.
Yeah.
It looks like that, but all caps. I think it changes it to all caps for you, but that is the code that you would use. And so at checkout, it would take that.
Amazing. Amazing. And we will email everyone out with all of the different ways to connect and the guests offer and how to follow through with that. So yes, well, thank you so much, Courtney. It's been very interesting learning even more about the shadow and how we can integrate this. So thank you for bringing your wisdom in.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, and thank you everybody for showing up and being here. And yeah.
And hoping that you you heal your body and the pain and your lower back as you recover quickly from that. So yes.
Thank you so much. Yes, I need it. I'm like, I need to do some Reiki on myself tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Journey.
Much love to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye. How incredible to have Courtney with us. That was really amazing. So just share a whole lot of love in the chat for Courtney and really yeah, being aware of the shadow and how that is affecting us, right? And Sandrine, I think, was talking about this with the fear portal. Like that's where the shadow lives, right? Is like in that fear portal. So all of these messages that we have coming through they're all lining up nicely to kind of like send us on our way to kind of do some deeper work around that. So yeah, how's everyone feeling? All good? Right, about facing things we don't want to, and about like what you were saying, Sana, with the abandonment, and how Courtney brought that in, that it, by abandoning that feeling, we're abandoning ourselves. And I've had rejection come up as well recently, and it's like, but I just kept on like pushing that feeling aside, so I was also rejecting myself. So it's like, yeah, what have you got?
So I just got this one too, and it was just before I commented, and it get a lot of water stuff. Weight of the world, boundaries, let it go. It's not yours to carry.
Yeah, wow, it's not ours to carry. I love
Isn't that cool? Because
Yeah.
we've been taught to be scared of those areas, and now it's like, no, we can go in there. It's okay, and with support, like these wonderful women, and
yeah.
so I love it.
Yes, we'll dive in there and release totally. And like, and what Sandrine said is about when something comes up, she gets excited because she's like, yes, now I can like figure this next layer and level up through that, right? So it's not being removing the overwhelm when something like that comes up, to have excitement around, like, and it's going to be painful and you're going to cry a lot, but it's
Then at the end, it's not yours to carry. It's gone at the end, right? And it's such an illusion that with, it gets everything stirring, right? That feminine, like, yeah, we can do this. And it's really, I love this dark, dirty work, witchy stuff, because not even, but like just the other woman and being able to talk to the things, I just love that women are just stepping into this, and this is just a beautiful summit.
Totally. And it is that fierce feminine energy, right, with the softer aspects, but like Kali and Sekhmet and Freya, it's like we're standing up for ourselves to do this work, so we can feel safe in being vulnerable and safe in being soft, and that we're not we're integrating that shadow, and we're still assertive in our softness. We're not being a doormat, we're not just people pleasing, like we still have power in our softness, right? I think it's like having that duality of being soft and feminine, but having the fierce powerful energy, that the two together is like being unstoppable, right? Is that being unstoppable energy.
And then having like how it's like then the body work, because I mean I've been a masculine force in my life, as tomboy growing up, and then the body forgetness is almost of the feminine too, so rising that back up is really this a lot of that earlier doing, embodying the priestess and putting that on and in you and retouching, so many layers.
So many layers. And what Darcy brought up with the diamond, and that whatever facet of the feminine that you get into to channel, or the goddess that you love, it is all just that connecting to that kind of divine source energy, to just kind of embrace it all. Right? And whoever shows up as your guide or, ascended master for you, that's your access point to that
like a straw, like the straw, and there's the light, and it just wants to come down. They want to. So I love it.
I love it. Amazing. Thank you so much, Carly, for sharing that. All good. Hi, Jay. How are you? Popped in. Amazing.